Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan, and today we're going to be trying something out that I've never tried before because I tend to have a sort of bias against Spirits Direct stuff, and Total Wine is constantly trying to bombard me with their Spirits Direct products. They're like, you definitely got it. If you haven't tried this, gotta try this. It's the Wolcott, it's the Chestnut Farms, it's all that stuff, right? And so I tend to be really wary about those things because I understand that they're trying to push that because they make more money off of those bottles than the other bottles. It's, from a business standpoint, it makes sense, but it just, as a consumer, is something that doesn't sit always too right with me when, they know for a fact that there are other bottles that people might prefer based on what they're describing, what they're after. I just think it's a little bit dishonest in that regard. So because of that, I have never tried Wolcott. I've had plenty of Chestnut Farm stuff. I've given it a fair shake. And while I think that the juice itself is not bad, I think it's overpriced. But this, I'm going to give it a shot today because one of our Patreon supporters, Mr. Mendoza, was like, hey, you got to at least try Wolcott out. So he actually had this. I didn't even realize this was something you could do, but he bought this and a few other bottles on Total Wine's website, the Total Wine that's closest to me, and he was like, just check your email. I checked my email, and all I do is just select a delivery time, and they just brought all these bottles straight to my house. I didn't have to leave the house today, and all these bottles were delivered. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. That's super generous of you, my friend. But anyways, we're going to try Wolcott out, and they've got a few different bottles, but this one is the Rickhouse Reserve. It is distilled by Barton 1792. Right, so if you like 1792, this might be similar to 1792 full proof, maybe, because this is a 120 proof. In fact, it might be interesting to do a side-by-side comparison, but this is the 1792 full proof. My bottle is getting very low, and this is 125 proof. So both of these were distilled by the same people. 5 proof points of difference, right? They even look color-wise very similar. But let's give it a shot. I have to say the sticker price here is not nearly as bad as some of the Chestnut Farm stuff, right? You can get Chestnut Farms 90 proof and spend, what is that, like a $70 bottle, something like that, and distilled by the same people. The Wolcott here, this is a $43 bottle at 120 proof. That's pretty good, right? In terms of price point. So if the whiskey is good, $43 for this at 120 proof, that's a really nice price. Now I'm going to crack this open and let it start opening up a bit. As I do, let me give you a recommendation. If you watch this video and you're like, I wouldn't mind trying that, but I don't want to spend $43 on a whiskey that I've never tried before, blind, a little recommendation for you. Total Wine has open bottles of this. I think every Total Wine does, because they don't mind letting you sample it because they want to make a sale. So next time you're in a Total Wine and they start pushing Wolcott on you, do me a favor and say, can I try it first? And they will almost certainly say, yeah, we've got some samples. We could pour you a quick sample and let you try it out. It won't be like a full pour. It'll be a tiny little, itty bitty little sample of it, but you'll get a nice sip of it, and you can at least go off of that and have some semblance of knowledge of what the flavor of the whiskey is before you buy it. But with the sales direct stuff, always ask for a sample first. Okay, visual inspection alone, 120 proof. It looks fairly oily, not big thick drips running down the side of the glass, but it's leaving a nice thin coating on the outside of the glass. Nose is interesting here. Some spicy oak on the nose. A lot of quintessential bourbon notes on this, which doesn't surprise me because Barton doesn't really stray too far out of the lines usually. Spicy oak, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, lots of caramely notes as well. I will say I get I get almost like a hint of a raisin. Not a lot of it. It's underneath everything, very subtly in there, but I get a little bit of a raisin note on the nose of this one as well. Well, let's try it. We'll see if this is any good, eh? Cheers. Well, that's my first sip of the day, and I'm getting every one of those 120 proof points up front. But the first sip is hot and peppery, with a little bit of brown sugar oak on the tail end of it. I'm going to give it a second to just kind of sit there. I'll go back in for a second sip, now that my palate's sort of acclimating to drinking whiskey today. Yeah, second sip, it's softening up a little bit. I get a little bit of rye influence in here, some of those peppery, spicy notes. But the thing I'm getting the most of, which is kind of surprising to me, it's almost like a figgy, jammy kind of a note in here. It's like a rich, fruity jam. which could be some of that, the raisin notes we were getting on the nose. It's kind of similar to that. It's not super complex, but it's sweet, figgy, and the tail end of that peppery oak in there. That's not bad at all. Yeah, I guess for $43 to get 120 proof Barton juice isn't a terrible deal. I mean, I think I lean more towards the 1792 full proof between the two, because I think you get a little bit more of a robust package with the 1792. Those rich butterscotch and caramels. But I will say the Wolcott is not bad. It's not bad. And it's really not too expensive, in the grand scheme of things with bourbons these days. $43 for this bottle is probably pretty fair, considering the proof point on it. Yeah, thanks again, Mr. Mendoza, for sending this my way. Glad I had a chance to give it a shot. What would be really fun is maybe if we put it in a blind next week. Toss it into a blind next week with some other high-proof bourbons and just see how it fares. That might be a fun thing to do. I think we should probably do that, give that a shot. So am I floored by this? No. Am I disappointed in it? Not really. I'd say it's pretty comfortably above average. So if I were to give this a score per my scale, even though it is something that they're trying to push on people, sometimes maybe disingenuously, it depends on the branch that you're at. But all that stuff aside, we're just talking about the price of the whiskey and how it tastes, right? What is it? What does it cost? And is it good? Considering those things, especially the price point, I think that's a real winning factor for it. I'm gonna land at a 6.7. It's good. Maybe buy. And like I said, the thing that's nice about this is Total Wines are everywhere. And you have the option to sample it before you buy it, right? So that would be my recommendation. Go to a Total Wine sometime, see what they've got. Nothing strikes your fancy, you got some cash you want to blow, maybe pick up a high proof bottle. Just ask. Be like, hey, what's the deal with this Wolcott? Let them give you their spiel. And then at the end of their spiel, be like, I'm interested. Do you maybe have a sample of it I could try before I buy a bottle? And then, because they want to make the sale, right? Because their managers are telling them, sell these bottles. And if they feel like there's potential for you to walk home or walk out of the store with that bottle, they're going to want to do everything they can to make sure that happens. So ask for a sample, try it out. If you like it, take it home for $43. That would be my recommendation. And if you don't like it, no harm, no foul. Just be like, I don't think that's my thing. They can't force you to buy it. Little figgy, little jammy. Not bad. Comfortably in the maybe buy category for me. And that's the video on Wolcott Rickhouse Reserve. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today and watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like on it, as that's the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. Otherwise, check out our Discord community. Totally free to join. Great people in there doing great things, helping each other out, sharing great pictures of their pours, the trips they're taking to Kentucky. Craig recently sharing his trip to Scotland. There's just great stuff in there. Good whiskey content. And a big shout out to my Patreon supporters for helping me fund the bottles we get to pick up and review here on the channel. I would not have a channel without you guys, so thank you so much. Cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.